Well, they might be complex numbers, but they're definitely not complicated. And today we are going to look at adding and subtracting of complex numbers. Okay, so here we're given a number of different complex numbers. We're told z1 is equal to 4 plus 2i, z2 equal to 3 plus 2i, and z3 is equal to minus 2 plus I. And so we're asked to find z1 plus z2, or z1 plus z3, or z1 take away z2, z1 take away z3. And the most important thing that we remember when we're adding or subtracting complex numbers, it's very similar to everything else that we do with algebra. It is this one important fact. And it is this: like terms together. So basically, all that means for us is that we put reals together and we put imaginaries together. And so that's how we group. Okay, so we're going to do a couple of quick examples and then you can do the activity in Schoology. Okay, so here we're going to do question 1 together, and we're asked to find z1 plus z2. And we know that z1 is equal to 4 plus 2i, and z2 is equal to 3 plus 2i. So z1 plus z2, I suppose I'll put it into blue, is equal to, well, 4 plus 2i, we'll just put brackets around it for the moment, plus, and the reason I'm putting brackets around it because later if we're doing subtraction, then that minus sign out here in the middle would affect everything in that bracket, and sometimes we forget that. Okay, so, and all we have to do then is, so like terms together. Okay, and so that's what we're going to focus with now. So first of all, I've got my reals, so that's here. So I'm going to have z1 plus z2 is equal to, well, it's 4 plus 3, and then my imaginaries together. So that's plus 2i plus 2i. And again, I still have the same amount of terms that I had initially. Up here I had 1, 2, 3, 4 terms. Here I have 1, 2, 3, 4. They're just simply reordered. And so here I have 4 plus 3, well, that's going to be equal to 7. And 2i plus 2i, well, that is 4i. And so that's my answer for z1 plus z2. Okay, we're going to look at part number 3 now for an example of subtracting complex numbers. Okay, and just before we move on, make sure that you've paused this video and taken down this example in your maths copy. Okay, and so off we go again. We are going to look at now part 3, z1 minus z2. So here I have z1 minus z2, and that's equal to, well, z1 is 4 plus 2i, and same as before, I'm putting it in brackets. Now I have, very importantly, my minus sign here, and then z2 is 3 plus 2i. Okay, and so just before we do anything with this, really, we want to deal with, of course, our minus sign here. So rewriting that again, I'm going to have, well, z1 is equal to, it remains as 4 plus 2i, and now minus by 3, well, that's minus 3, and minus by plus 2i is minus 2i. And so here I'm just going to again follow my same rule of before, which is that we put like terms together. Isn't that right? So here, to put like terms together, well, then I'm going to put my 4 and 3 because they're both real numbers, and then I would have this 2i and 2i together as well. So our next line is going to be, well, it's 4 minus 3 plus 2i minus 2i. Okay, And so 4 take away 3, well, that's 1. And 2i take away 2i, well, that's plus 0i. Or it leaves us with an answer of just 1. Okay, so that's what z1 minus z2 happens to be equal to. Okay, but again, these would be our coordinates for the Argand diagram, that it would be 1 on the real axis and 0 on the imaginary axis. Okay, so for your learning check. Okay, so for the learning check, complete part 2 and part 4 of that example that we've just looked at. So they're the exact same process. And again, remembering that always when we're adding or subtracting complex numbers, that just like in all other aspects of algebra, we take like terms together and then we don't run into any issues. Okay, there you go. So complete the learning check and then on to the assignment up on Schoology.